We need to get this brother. We need to get this brother a barber and fast. Now he's a brave guy, but what's up with that cut? Now let's go back to Vladimir Putin. He's tired of seeing Kim Jong Un and monstrous looking Donald Trump on the pages of his newspapers every day. So he's bringing out his ships and his battleships and his tanks and his new weapons, and he's letting you know, I could have everybody focused on me, because if I get ready to make a move in Eastern Europe, who's going to stop me? If I get ready to make my move with all my tanks and my artillery, is little NATO going to stop me? I'm pissed off at NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, because when the Soviet Union collapsed under Gorbachev and old stumbling and fumbling Boris Yeltsin, the Soviet Union was a joke, and Russia was a joke. And therefore, NATO took what was called Warsaw, the Pact of the East Europeans, and NATO just moved in on all the eastern states, the former Soviet states, the Ukraine and Poland, and NATO just went in like gangster. And Bill Clinton bombed Serbia, and America was the only superpower in the early 90s, and America was throwing up their rag and their flag, and Russia was weak. But now Putin remembers that. And he's been in the gym lifting his weights, and he wants to show, God damn it, we are still a world power in the Soviet Union.
To be reckoned with.
And so, yeah, we're to be reckoned with, and we'll test you in Eastern Europe. If we take some more territory other than Crimea, what you gonna do about it? You ready to go to international war with me if I take some territory over here? Is it worth that much for you? The mindset right now of the rulers inside of this scenario. And it is not similar to the other two world wars, again, that have gone before us. World wars that included Hitler and Mussolini and Roosevelt and Churchill and Hirohito and Tojo and all the other big-time gangsters of the great powers.
Yes. It's a different time, definitely. Different technology and everything, actually. Sir, real quick, we're going to bring in a couple of callers. Caller with the last four digits of 1899. You're with Connect the City. May we have your name?
Hey, this is Melvin. Ladies, how y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Melvin. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, Melvin.
Appreciate it. Have another call. Wait 1 second. Let me bring the other person in. The caller with the last four digits of 5402. You're on with Connect the City. May we have your name?
Hate it.
No.
Maybe they want to listen, and that's okay.
All right. Yes, Melvin, you have something brief that you'd like to say before we get back to Mr. Malik Shabazz?
Yeah, just a subject on the whole war situation. I think that everybody's sleeping on Afghanistan, and they forgot that they're like the biggest opiate dealer in the world. The Russians couldn't defeat them. They were like their Vietnam was to us, what the Vietnamese did to us.
Okay.
That's what they did to the Russians. We've been fighting them for the 15 years, the same amount of time that the Russians fought them. We still haven't beat them. There hasn't been anybody on the planet that has ever beat the Afghan people at war, at their own game, even on their own territory. And I think what Donald Trump is doing now with that whole NFL thing, he's deflecting so we'll pay attention to his right hand, so we're not following what his left hand is doing, and everybody is falling for that game. Meanwhile, he's getting his whole war game together, so when the next election comes up in 2020, he'll be sitting as the president, and nobody ever unseats the president in the United States when he's at war. So you got to watch the game and how the game is being played. That's all I have to say on that.
Well, thank you so much for your comment. Appreciate that. Sir, I want to ask a question. Is Donald Trump a bully?
Donald Trump is beyond a bully.
Ooh.
Donald Trump is a straight-up white gangster. He is a straight-up white gangster. He is a master of manipulation, and he really don't give a fizz-up. You know what I mean? He really don't give a damn.
I love him.
And you know what? Really, I'm kind of watching this Trump thing from the perspective of he really has opened up the floodgates, and he's really has taken the gloves off. So we need to take our gloves off too. You know, it is what it is. He's coming with it raw, and we need to come with it raw, and we need to get it on. Now, the question is, will Donald Trump play the war card? He's beyond the bully. He's a master manipulator, and he is just like that brother said. He's got the American media and American under his control. He knows how to make a noise in the East and strike in the West. He knows how to raise a problem with a tweet. He's sitting back here laughing, saying, with a tweet, I can set you all off for the day. He's playing with these people out here with a Twitter button.
With a
Twitter button.
Bastard. No good bastard. Playing with the people and the lives of the people. So now here it is. Now here it is. Will he play the war card is the question.
Yes.
When will he play it? Of course he'll play it, and he will probably play it sometime either around the midterm election or if he can in other elections, and he'll do it in the ways that let's say how Bill Clinton used it. Bill Clinton was on his heels and backed up against the wall in terms of Monica Lewinsky. He had been lying about saying, I did not have sex with that woman. I did not, and he was busted. He did have sex with that woman. And they were all on him, and he got to launching his missiles on Sudan, saying that there were some terrorists on Sudan. He hit the diversion button. And certainly it is in the tradition. I think another phone is on. It's making some little noise.
Apologize
Certainly,
for that.
it's in the tradition. Maybe it need to be muted. It's in the tradition of America. Remember the Maine. Remember the fact that Pearl Harbor is not pure Pearl Harbor, meaning that you cannot say for sure. Well, actually, you can say that America was provoking and choking the Japanese and baiting the Japanese, and the Japanese did fall for the bait. And right now, you better believe over there, they're doing everything to get Kim Jong-un to attack an American plane or to attack an American ship so that they can get this thing on.
Yeah. So wouldn't you say he's already pulled the war card by the things that he's been saying in the media?
He has put us on the verge of having, with all of that rhetoric, what you do is you back yourself in a corner where you can hardly do nothing else but play the war card.
Gotcha.
That's the danger of it.
Gotcha.
When you have so much talking and less thought and responding, you put yourself in the position where you have to fight to save face. It's like two of us. We out there, we saying something, we talking big talk in the public, and talking big talk about what we gonna do and what you gonna do, and you got all your friends looking. Well, you got to slow down.
Right.
You can't relax and negotiate out of this. You didn't talk to all that big talk and everybody's looking, and you didn't talk that big talk. Now you got to fight.
You got to.
Because your pride and your ego is involved, and we know that this man's psychological profile says that he purely operates off ego, and that makes him dangerous.
Yes.
Well, what you need is a cool-headed man and a level-headed man.
Yes. Which we don't have.
We don't have that. We had it.
Which we don't have.
We had him.
He has set it on a war footing. There's no doubt. He has set it on a war footing and on a trigger hair footing. And it would be a shame to see millions and millions of South Koreans lose their lives due to Donald Trump coming into power. And it would be a shame to see others in Asia lose their lives, or those in America, and many North Koreans lose their lives in a major disaster. So we have to ask ourselves, continue that question. Is this not only World War III? Is this war, or is this that war of Armageddon? And that war that the Bible speaks of, that war to end all wars. Is this that great battle coming forth that will go down in the valley of Jehoshaphat? Or will cooler heads prevail?
Okay, well, sir, we need to go to break, but once we come back, I have a question that I would like to ask you.
Certainly. We talked about that NFL and all. We need to talk about the NFL and all of that. I mean, that's absurd. We can't, before we go, we have to touch on that. The nerve of this idiot, the nerve of this fool, Donald Trump, called the president of the United States. To call our brothers and sisters, our brothers who are on the field, and really called a black woman by inference. He called them the players sons of bitches.
Yeah.
That means he's calling the black woman a bitch.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So
yes.
we'll take a
is.
real quick break, guys.
When he's talking about our people.
Yes, and we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back.
His ass.
We want you to hold that thought because we know you are fired up, and we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna be right back.
My fellow Americans, muted. On Tuesday, Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad launched a horrible chemical weapons
Guys,
attack.
call in 929-477-3886.
Yes, Trump just started World War III.
We have an amazing special guest, Malik Shabazz, Black Lawyers for Justice. Okay, guys, we're going to go. The break is almost over, guys.
You touched briefly on Iran and Syria, which sort of leads me into my final question. It's completely subjective. Most of us agree on all the problems. How and when do you see it playing out? And I know it's hard to talk about timing and triggering events, but
Considering that I really thought last fall was going to be it. I mean, I saw re-election of Obama. I just couldn't picture